Last year probably is the most ironic year. It's so ironic that saying you are positive has become so scary, and the word negative, a word we hope for. Working means staying at home, being healthy means staying away from the hospital. With all these rapid changes happening around us, how can we ensure that technology can be an ally in the new normal? We'll find out more about that later today at PLDT Enterprises' first ever industry online forum for eHealth. To start, allow me to provide you a glimpse of the landscape so we can see both the problems and the opportunities. We have seen that out of 1,400 hospitals, public and private, there are only a handful of level 3 hospitals which are capable of addressing all kinds of scenarios. 55 of those are in NCR. With this, how can we ensure that all 104 million Filipinos can access the services of such hospital? On the other hand, we also witnessed the greatest increase in mobile interaction via the internet at 173 million connections in January 2020 alone. Take note that while the physical infrastructure is limited, there is an overwhelming volume of patients that can access and use the internet. Welcome and thank you to everyone joining us here today. I hope you are all staying safe, sanitized, and practicing social distancing if needed. Truly, these times are funny and sad mixed together. No matter what industry you are in, business, education, technology, we really felt the strong and deep impact of the pandemic. One of the sectors that I would say took the biggest hit would be the healthcare sector. The harsh reality of the pandemic is that due to the high number of patients battling the virus, hospitals are also faced with problems of pushing their capacity and resources to the limits. Meanwhile, a consequence of controlling the spread of the virus is increased restriction, which then kills revenue streams. Finally, patients are left alone, and the numbers will continue to grow if industries do not respond. That is why there is a need for eHealth solutions today that can provide healthcare for all. eHealth solutions help us make sure that each Filipino who is in need of medical attention, no matter where they are, has easy access to quality healthcare services such as consulting a doctor or receiving that needed prescription, all without leaving their homes. Now, we can achieve this if we focus all our efforts in realizing these three key objectives. One, making sure that healthcare has safer and wider access. Number two, better patient outcomes. And number three, efficient and safe healthcare systems. Now, eHealth comes in with three solutions ecosystem that addresses these three pillars, namely telemedicine, hospital management system or the HMS, and the electronic medical record or your EMR. And these below are the corresponding solutions under the three major pillars of eHealth. Telemedicine is very much needed today. We need contactless provision of quality services that ensures privacy, security, and also productivity for both the expert and patient. With our eHealth telemedicine, no distance is an issue. Through telemedicine, professionals and institutions can connect and collaborate with patients whenever or wherever. This includes the ability to issue electronic prescription, able to get online payments using the same platform, and more important, compliance to government and industry standards. Some of the features of the application are hospital or clinic calendar access. Of course, with this access, you will be able to do advanced booking or scheduling in advance. Also provided are advanced notification for queuing management. You can be reminded whenever you want it to be reminded. There's also online payment availability, digital laboratory referrals and the like, and of course, collaboration between peers. Tougher times require unbreakable resolve to ensure success. This is why the industry needs eHealth telemedicine today. Number one, this solution takes care of both the practice and the business. Allows you to monitor and get reports of your business in terms of transaction history and the details of it. Second, it's also very important that while we introduce the new normal, we should also make it easier, more convenient, as this solution introduces a new world of convenience and efficiency to both expert and patient that crosses the geographical boundaries. And lastly, also very important, compliance to standard. It's also very important that we secure personal information being used during the consultation and can only be accessed by authorized persons. Here at PLDT Enterprise, you can access telemedicine through our recently launched partnership with SeaDoc and the rest of the solutions under ePLDT Smart and PLDT Enterprise. Let's make our capabilities future positive. Contact your PLDT RMs and AMs now. Now, to further understand what SeaDoc can do for us, I have it installed in my smartphone so I can show it to you guys. Okay, so right now I'm gonna take my phone. I'm gonna open the application. So right away, so you're gonna see the home page. We're in, of course, since blanco pa, there's no notifications. You can see. Unless there are notifications, you would see right away. So I'm gonna go to the profile to the lower right. So in this particular area, you will see your profile. Now, since there's no profile yet, I haven't registered, so we won't see anything. But there you have it. So there's a bunch of useful items listed. If you want to go to notifications, if you wanted to see your settings, your credit points, of course, you have e-wallet. Now I'm gonna go to my particular office. I'm pretending to be a doctor. So the name of the office is PLDT Clinic under PLDT Hospital. I'm gonna click right to hospital. So right away, it's very convenient. You can see appointments. You can see patients. You can see any feedback coming from your patients or your set of availability. So for appointments, for example, if I'm gonna click an appointment, of course, there's no upcoming appointment, but I can view also the past. So for example, for a patient, there's Molly Lorenzo. This is approved. If I wanted to click this particular appointment, so right away you can see the profile of the patient. So there's patient record, and then there's other details you can see. So right away you can cancel the appointment or reschedule if it's ahead of time. So I'm gonna exit. So again, if the patient is requesting for an appointment, you can see it in the notifications. So for patients, you can also see the encountered patients. So here with Molly, I can see appointment history, video call log. So this is very useful for doctors and practitioners. So going back, so I can also check for appointments. So right away, you can view your calendar and you can see all the appointments upcoming. So you can play around, you can check. Again, going back to clinics. So I'm gonna click PLDT. So there's a plethora of very helpful tools you can play around and you can use. Again, your patients can see whatever it is that you are writing in your profile. So for example, in practitioner info, so you can write and confirm everything that is needed to be known about you as a doctor or as a licensed practitioner. So without any fuss, this is a very simple solution, very helpful, very straight to the point, easy to navigate. So lastly, I wanted to show you this particular capability for the teleconsult. So let's assume that this is still an upcoming schedule. You will see right away from Molly. So you can view. So right away, there will be a button to your lower right to right away proceed to the call if this is ahead of time. But since this is past, this is recorded already. So this is a very simple solution, but this solution answers today's problem for the healthcare. So I'm going back now to the homepage. So it's very simple. At a glance, it provides everything that you need to know: the upcoming schedule, incoming schedule, any notification. You could view the patient's history, and as well every document the doctors or any doctors in your hospital are putting in the profile of your patient. So once again, I invite everyone watching this particular presentation to consider enabling your hospital, enabling your practice to be able to reach your customer regardless of time and distance. So I'm stopping the recording now. So there you have it. So if you have more question or any ideas you'd like to try, please contact your RM, your AM. They are waiting for you as we speak. Now that you have an idea on how the platform works, let's now listen to Dr. Maya of St. Luke's College of Medicine on how telemedicine is indeed needed today. Hi, Dr. Maya. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello, hope you're having a good day, and thanks also for having me.
What were the biggest challenges that your organization faced last year during the onset of the pandemic?
It seems like it's been so long. It's almost a year since this whole crisis started. So, our very first challenge was how to ensure service continuity. In the industry, you'd probably call it business continuity. But our mandate as a school, and I represent the St. Luke's Medical Center College of Medicine, our main mandate is to be able to continue teaching our students to prepare them to become the health professionals of the future. So last year, our schools had to close, and we were faced with the challenge of how to continue teaching our students given the fact that nobody was prepared to go online at short notice. But thankfully, we did have some preparations that were in place because we were already talking about, how to continue teaching in a short-term disaster situation. We had piloted this during the Taal eruption, and we were able to achieve yung goal namin of zero lost learning days. So that was our first goal, to have zero lost learning days. But of course, as the pandemic continued, it got a little bit more difficult because as we have all learned, over the past year, that this particular disaster, because of the uncertainty, because of the length of time, the changes that have really been instituted, this is really different from anything that we had experienced before. And so the next challenge was how to be constantly able to recalibrate and adapt, particularly given the needs of our stakeholders. So our stakeholders being students and faculty, they were having difficulty with infrastructures, hardware, software, connectivity, and we had to be able to be flexible and be able to communicate constantly with them and include them in the conversation as to how really we can continue doing what we need to do and still stay compassionate and still stay flexible given the varying needs of our stakeholders.
What do you think are the good impact of having technology partners such as PLDT Enterprise to the practice of this kind of profession?
Mhm. So in technology enhanced education, we have the concept of what's called the iron triangle. So this iron triangle, it links cost, quality, and access. Particularly when you're talking about technology, we all know that technology requires a large startup investment cost. So partnership with CUDOC, and this has actually happened. I mean, this isn't something that we invented, but that over the decades of educational use of technology, similar partnerships have also happened in other settings. And this is a way for us to address the startup technology cost so that we can ensure quality, be able to use the technology for the educational purpose, and not have to drive up the cost of education. And that was a very, very important thing, that we, continue to ensure access or accessibility of medical education, because we don't want education to become so expensive that it becomes inaccessible, because then we would lose the opportunity to produce more medical graduates to serve the needs of our country.
Thank you, Doc Maya, for that very insightful, that very informative insight you've provided. And we hope to see more of this insight from the likes of leaders like you. Thank you again, Doc Maya, and see you soon.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to share.
Thank you. Moving on to our next section, I want to dive into two other components of eHealth: Hospital Management System, or HMS, and Electronic Medical Record, or EMR. With HMS, institutions who once suffered with depleted resources can now conveniently manage, practice, and organize their business. This means access to online payment gateways, finance, and debit automation, hospital asset management, and systems integration. Today, tools like the AGS SAP Evolve make this a possibility. Finally, with Healthcare Medical Record, or EMR, extracting data is now faster, and professionals can now make better decisions through the patient's data pool. This includes records, analytics, and intelligence. Salesforce Health Cloud and CareSpan makes this accessible to institutions and professionals today.
We have a healthcare system that costs too much and does too little. The industry and the country is going to demand that we do more faster for our patients and for our families. The fundamental breakdown in healthcare is coordination, collaboration, and communication.
It's not just the doctor or the nurse or the pharmacist or the social worker. The patient is an equal partner.
What's remarkable is how poorly we connect patients and providers to actually practice as a team.
It's dealing with a variety of technologies and having to look in various places for different pieces and parts of information around what a member may be experiencing.
In many ways, your bank knows more about you and where you are than the healthcare system, which is crazy.
We have to think differently about innovation and the application of technology.
Technology's led the way in other industries. We've got to make sure that technology is seen as a real partner for healthcare.
We need to look for a new platform, which is where customer relationship management comes in.
CRM is a great unifier that brings together this community of caregivers so there's complete fluidity of information sharing.
The integration of EHR information, claims information, credit information, environmental information is all relevant to better patient outcomes.
It equips our associates with a 360-degree view of what's going on with that member. And what that does is that builds trust.
If we can leverage technology and bring people together so that patient relations are managed in a more intelligent and holistic way, we're not going to bend the cost curve, we're going to break it.
If we meet them where their health is, will result in overall lower total cost.
And if you can lower costs, improve outcomes, and make people happy, it's a pretty good business value proposition.
We chose Salesforce because Salesforce was the first step, and it was an important first step.
We're leveraging Salesforce to make sure that patients are informed and they're engaged directly, empowering them, if you will, to help themselves heal.
Now that we've established the significance of telemedicine, HMS, and EMR, we are one step closer to achieving healthcare for all. We hope that these solutions will shape the future of our healthcare industry. Soon, we will be able to reach more, service more, cure more, and be more with eHealth. Allow me to introduce Noel Del Castillo, CUDOC CEO, to share how the CUDOC partnership with PLDT Enterprises was born. I'm gonna call Noel. Hi, Noel. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Paul. Thank you for having me here.
What made you decide in the creation of this eHealth platform? Specifically, what pain points did the CUDoc aim to address?
So, when we started CU Doc, we really want to make healthcare accessible for all, starting with the experience of the patients. So, me as a patient, most of the time when I go have a checkup with a doctor, I spend 2 to 3 hours both travel and waiting time just to go visit with a doctor for let's say around 15 to 30 minutes. And because of that inconvenience, we felt that there has to be a way to solve this through technology. This is where CEODoc was born.
Well, speaking of these technological capabilities and the reason behind it, what is something unique about CUDoc that is very relevant to this changing times? Can you share some cases?
Sure. So the good thing about CEODoc and what makes it unique, um, as a telemedicine platform, it allows hospitals to be part of this growing industry. So let me show you an example. So for example, if a hospital would like to have their own telemedicine platform, they can have an account in CUDoc and create their virtual clinics or within their hospital account, and having their own virtual clinics in CUDoc, they can onboard their doctors so that the patients that goes to their hospitals can book appointments for for online consultations and for clinic visits. So the good thing here is that since we are able to process the payments of the patients on behalf of the doctor and hospitals, we have a comprehensive auto disbursement system that process the payments of the patients for the doc and disperse it to the doctor, to the clinic, and to the hospital. That's what makes us very unique now in this industry.
Yes, and indeed, it seems that there are very few, if not you're the only one, who can really enable that type of strength towards the hospitals and doctors. Now, how has having a partner like PLDT Enterprise help you in critical times such as this?
Oh, PLDT really helped us reach our goals. So for CUDoc, our vision is to make healthcare accessible for everyone in the Philippines. And with the help of PLDT, we are able to reach from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So the good thing here is that, you know, hospitals, clinics, and doctors, even though uh, they have their own system in place, sometimes there's need to be addressed in terms of internet connectivity, in terms of devices, and all of these things. We need a partner who can provide this that is integrated with our system, and at the same time what's the same goal of improving the healthcare industry. And this is where PLDT comes in, and we're very fortunate that we're one of the partners of PLDT to be able to improve this the healthcare industry in the Philippines.
Well, likewise, we are very also fortunate to have found a very amazing technological partner such as CEODoc. Again, thank you, Noel, for joining us, and we look forward to seeing more innovations in our partnership in the future. Thank you, Noel. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
I think my friend from Smart, Yula, is joining us today. I want to share with her the good news about CUDoc, and let's see what she has for us. Hey, Yula, how are you?
Hi, Paul. What's the latest?
We're good. We're good. Well, as you know, we've been adapting to everything that's been happening lately. And one of that is providing a very credible means of access to healthcare services. This allows us to reduce the risk of getting infection between doctors and patients.
This is very timely, Paul. How will it work?
Well, you see, we've been working with amazing partners, and one of them is CUDoc, a very promising startup company, a healthcare software company. So it has a very promising solution, telemedicine solution that allows proper communication and collaboration between doctors and patients. Everything that the doctors doing are being done only through their mobile phone, and it has been very helpful.
Mm, I see. That's great news. Well, with smart machine-to-machine SIMs or the Smart Bro plans, actually, doctors, nurses, and hospital or clinic owners who need connectivity will be able to connect with their patients. So, how will it work? If you have the eHealth app, they can access it with their M2M mobile plans or their Smart Bro tablet plans. And, they can choose whichever device they want to use it with.
Right, indeed, that's very timely and very needed. Of course, with the help of smart online consultation would be very easy. E-prescriptions are done easily, and of course, reservations are more organized.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the doctors and the nurses, especially the patients, they don't have to go to the hospital or clinics or to be outside and exposed so that they could provide and receive care. So we can surely support you with this, Paul. With Smart, they will be connected anytime, anywhere. And if you know of any doctors or nurses who need connectivity, just give us a call.
All right, and that sounds promising and amazing. Looking
Mhm.
forward to it, Yula, and of
Same,
course with
Paul.
smart. Thank you
Thank you
again,
so
Yula. Thank you.
much. Thank
Stay
you.
safe.
Take care. Bye.
And there you have it, everyone. Once again, thank you for joining us today, and I hope we all pick up valuable lessons about eHealth and their importance in our current situation. The future of eHealth in our country is positive, the good one, I mean. Please expect more innovations to help everyone in need of healthcare, especially during these changing times. Until then, we will continue to face challenges head on and keep on being bold, brave, and badass. Remember, you are unbreakable.